Hello everyone, you are with the InStyle Knitting Studio. This time I have prepared a masterclass on knitting this men's hat. I knitted it for a head circumference of 56 to 57 centimeters. The height of my hat is 21 centimeters. It starts with a ribbing of 2 by 2. Then we move on to the main pattern, which consists of twisted knit stitches. Next, we transition to a special ribbing, which decreases, then we gather the crown. If you like this option, let's get started. For the work, we need yarn. I have Semyonovskaya Natasha. It contains 50% wool and 50% acrylic per 100 grams. 250 meters. I knitted with 2 strands on circular needles, sizes 3.5 and 4.5. A measuring tape, scissors, next, a spare needle, a marker, a needle to weave in the ends, and a notebook with a pen for calculations. So let's begin knitting. I have already knitted part of the hat. Now I will tell you how I did it. So, we will knit 2 samples. We knit a ribbing of 2 by 2, 2 knit stitches, 2 purl stitches, this sample. We also knit a sample using our main pattern. I already have a lesson on knitting this pattern. Check the link below the video. We have knitted our samples. Now we take the ribbing sample and calculate the necessary number of stitches. How do you calculate your knitting gauge and make measurements? That is how to determine how many stitches to cast on for your head circumference. I also recorded a lesson. Here is a hint above. Check it out if you find it difficult to make such calculations. We have completed the calculations. We figured out how many stitches to cast on. I cast on using a size 3.5 needle. The number of stitches must be a multiple of 4, since we are using a 2 by 2 ribbing here. I ended up with 84 stitches. I added 1 stitch in order to join the knitting in a circle, so that 1 stitch will eventually be removed. And I will have 84 stitches remaining on the needles. How do we remove this stitch? How to close the item into a circle? I have a lesson on this as well. Check the link below the video. I cast on 85 stitches using a universal method. Also, the universal method, if anyone finds it difficult, is all linked below the video. So, we cast on 84 stitches plus 1. That is, I cast on 85 stitches on the needles. I close it into a circle. I have 84 stitches remaining on the needles. After this, I place a marker to keep track of the rows. So, I have 84 stitches on the needles. Next, I knit in a 2 by 2 ribbing. Here, I knitted 8 rows and it came out to about 4 centimeters. 3.5 to 4 in height. Next, we switch to a size 4.5 needle, which is bigger. After that, we need to make some increases. We have knitted the ribbing, and we need to add stitches. That is, in the next row, we will knit in knit stitches making increases. For this, we need to do some calculations. So, let's take a sample of our main pattern. Not the 2 by 2 ribbing, but the main pattern. I cannot show it to you right now, as I no longer have it. I knitted it into a hat, so I will just explain my calculations. So, I cast on 24 stitches. Therefore, I will write here a sample of the main pattern. I cast on 24 stitches, my sample, and measured with a measuring tape. I don't know how many stitches are in 1 centimeter. We will calculate using proportion. Thus, to find x, you need to multiply 24 stitches by 1 centimeter and divide by 10.5 centimeters. This results in 2.29 stitches. So in 1 centimeter, there is this amount of stitches. We multiply the obtained sum of 2.29 by our head circumference. This gives us 128 stitches. Therefore, to make a hat with a circumference of 56 centimeters, we need to cast on 128 stitches, but our one pattern repeat consists of 12 stitches. Consequently, we divide 128 stitches by 12 stitches, the number of stitches in one repeat. We get 10.6 repeats. I apologize. Thus, we have 10 complete repeats. We take the number of stitches in one repeat, 12 stitches, and multiply by the whole number we obtained, 10 repeats. This results in 120 stitches. This is the number we need to get. Therefore, 120 stitches means 10 full repeats. Thus, we need to get not 128 stitches, but 120. Moving on, 120 stitches that we need on the needles, we divide by 84 stitches, which we currently have on the needles. This results in 1.4. So now I will make increases every other stitch, next time every 2 stitches. Then again every 1, then 2. So this is the number of stitches at which we need to make our increases. But I think you understand. That's it then. I have 84, I need to get 120, so look, we did the calculations and found that we need to make increases to end up with 120 stitches. We currently have 84. At this moment, when we have knit the ribbing 84 stitches, we need to get 120. And we calculated that we need to make increases every 1. Next time every 2 stitches, or rather 1.5 stitches. Thus, in the next row, we knit all stitches in a knit stitch, and, as we go, we add and make increases. That is, we should end up with 120 stitches. 120 minus 84 equals 36 stitches that we need to add. I added by lifting the wrap. You can make increases in various ways, whichever you prefer. But now I will show how I did it. That is, look, the wrap between the stitches, I lifted it onto the left needle and knitted it through the back loop. In such a way that no hole formed, like this. That's it. I just showed this as an example of how I made the increases. After we made our increases and had not 84 stitches but 120, we knit in the main pattern like this. I recorded a separate lesson on knitting this pattern. I got this pattern from a very good website. There are a lot of useful patterns with good explanations. The link to the site will be under the video. By the way, how to knit this pattern in detail, I already explained in my lesson, so look, there's the link, go ahead and knit with me. That is, I will not show how exactly to knit this pattern now. Everything is in my lesson. After knitting the main pattern to a height of 9 centimeters, which is 1.5 repeats, the height of my entire hat was approximately 12.5 centimeters. I stopped at the 7th row of the chart. That is, I knitted the 7th row of the chart. We will not continue knitting according to the chart at this point. Instead, we will knit according to the pattern. That is, we knit what we see. Here is my last stitch, I will finish it. Here is the beginning of the row. So, how do we knit? We knit 2 purl stitches. After that, we knit 2 knit stitches. Next, we have 4 purl stitches, then 2 knit stitches. And after that, 2 purl stitches. So, this is our first report. That is, girls, everything we see, we knit. We see pearls, we knit pearls. We see knits, we knit knits. That is, we are now knitting exactly according to the pattern 7 rows. That's it. I am finishing this row and will knit 6 more rows straight. After that, we will start decreasing. So friends, we have knitted. The height of the hat at the moment is 14.5 to 15 centimeters. Now let's start decreasing. We have 2 pearls here and 2 pearls here. That is, we knit 2 pearls together as pearl. We knitted. Next we knit 2 knits. Here we see again. We have 4 pearls. We knit them 2 together as pearl. Once and the next 2 pearls together as pearl. A second time, then we knit 2 knits again. We decrease in the pearl stitches. Next we have pearl stitches again. We knit 2 pearls together and again 2 pearls together. Next we knit 2 knits again. That is, where there are 4 pearls, we knit 2 pearls together. In other words, we make 2 pearls from 4 pearls. That is it. We knit like this to the end of the row and then knit 3 more rows straight without any decreases. Friends, we finished. But I added 1 more row. That is, we decreased together and I knitted 4 more rows straight. Not 3, as I said, but 4. At this point, we will do another decrease. Here's the beginning of my row. We knit 2 knit stitches according to the pattern. Next, we have 2 pearl stitches. We knit them together as pearls. I am knitting. Classically, if you are knitting using the grandmother method, then you knit using that method. Then we have 2 knit stitches according to the pattern again. After that, we have 2 pearl stitches again. We knit them together as pearls classically. In my case, that is, in this row, we knit the knit stitches as usual, without decreases, and decrease on the pearl stitches. From 2 pearl stitches we make 1. So we have knitted the knit stitches in the usual way, and the 2 pearl stitches together. Thus, we continue to the end of the row. Friends, after that, we will knit 4 more rows straight. We finish this row, plus 4 more rows straight without any decreases. We will have 2 knit stitches, 1 pearl stitch, 2 knit stitches, 1 pearl stitch. Well, we are done. Now we will make the 3rd decrease. We will decrease the knit stitches in this row, knitting them together through the front loop. Look, 2 knit stitches. We knit them together through the front loop. Next, 1 pearl stitch. Then we have 2 knit stitches again. We knit them together through the front loop, knit. Next, 1 pearl stitch, 2 knit stitches. Together knit through the front loop. We continue in this way to the end of the row. Knitting 1 pearl stitch, then 2 knit stitches together through the front loop. After this, upon finishing this row, we will knit 3 more rows straight. Then we will make our 4th decrease. That's it. We have reached our 4th final decrease. Here we already have a 1 by 1 ribbing, 1 knit stitch, 1 pearl stitch, 1 knit stitch, 1 pearl stitch, 1 pearl stitch. How will we decrease? We will decrease the stitches by half. That is, we will simply knit 2 stitches together through the back loop. Thus, we will knit to the end of the row. And then, we will knit 2 more rows straight. After this, we will already be closing our crown, and I will show you how I do that. So, we have knitted, it turns out, after our decreases 2 more rows in plain knit stitches. And at this point, we will start to gather our crown. Here, I left about centimeters. I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 20, I cut the yarn. And here I have a hook size 3. With the hook, I will now pull this thread through my open stitches, my thread's end. And we simply take the hook, grab the thread and pull it through the loop. After that, we slide it off the needle. You can also thread the yarn into a needle and do this with the needle. That is, we will transfer all our open stitches onto the yarn. That's it. We have transferred all the stitches onto the yarn. Now we thread our yarn into the needle, and now we pulled it tight, but don't pull too much, so the thread doesn't break. And now, just under the last stitches, we will go around again to tighten the hole. To make it sturdier, we went around. By the way, friends, if your final number of stitches turned out to be large, I have 20 stitches on my needles, and I tightened it. If it's hard for you to tighten it and you have a large hole, mine tightened well, in fact. If it doesn't tighten well, you can knit 1 more row decreasing again, that is, making decreases as we did last time, by knitting 2 stitches into 1. Then everything will close up nicely and tighten. That's it. In general, we went around. Now we will go to the inside, grab the needle, and pull it to the wrong side. I will now hide all the ends and then show the finished beanie. Here's the beanie we made. Now let's measure the height. Here it's 21 centimeters, which is basically what we needed, I hope. The men will appreciate it. I want to add a lining to this beanie. So, I will probably shoot a masterclass. Therefore, friends, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it, like the video, and always stay stylish. Good vibes to everyone.